Every time I think of summertime, girl, I think of you. I think of caramel skin, curly hair, and 3 bird tattoos. Every time I scroll through a photo album, I always feel nostalgia mixed with emptiness, 'cause we thought we were limitless. But now, oh now, I wonder if you think of me, or am I just a memory? If so, please don't tell me, 'cause I've been holding on to fantasies that we could be together for eternity. I just had to leave and get my grad degree. Sweet home California, baby, how I miss the beach. Been in New York City 7 days.
It's the break of dawn, I'm not making sense. Talking to the wall, calling it a friend. I was in the clear, but lines got blurry again. It's not very warm when I'm alone in bed, so call me in the morning, sheets over your head. Night got pretty weird with both our cheeks turning red. Yeah, never think before I react. No, it's bad when I play it back. I'm sorry if I pulled you in on all my bullshit. No, it's annoying. I'm sorry if I pulled you close when we're together. I should know better. Making mama proud 7 days a week, but I come back around like a roller rink. When the sun is down, it sets a whole different scene. Tripping on my tongue when you're craving sweet nothings. We're not even an item, but you're feeling like it's something. I won't talk about it cause I wanna feel your loving. Yeah. Never think before I react. No, it's bad when I play it back. I'm sorry if I pulled you in on all my bullshit. No, it's annoying. I'm sorry if I pulled you close when we're together. I should know better. I'm sorry if 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 I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I'm sorry if I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I must have been dreaming the whole damn time. Do you think of me when you close your eyes? 'Cause I don't see you in mine. Of broken love and an empty smile. The kind of love that makes you stay a while, then hangs you up to dry. Thought that this wouldn't hurt, but I'm down on my knees. Never expected the worst, but I'm starting to see. Maybe love is just tragedy. apologies tonight.
My friend nostalgia, I found you when I heard the sweet sound of the ones who I once knew so well. In a voice memo from years ago, we were laughing about some nonsense. Oh, how I miss those friends. Circumstances made it so that I'll never see their faces, except for on the internet, where I'll never really know what's going on behind their smiles. I mean, I guess I could check in once in a while, but those friends are growing up, and there's no time for us to pretend we'd stay in touch, 'cause everybody knows it will never be the same. We move on and people change. Yeah, those friends are growing up, and I wanna tell them the reason why I'll never get to see them, but clearly they don't need to know. Still on my phone, I'll look back at the pictures and I'll reminisce when I'm alone, to keep myself from forgetting. Will we ever meet again on this side of heaven? Those friends are growing up, and there's no time for us to pretend we'd stay in touch, 'cause everybody knows it will never be the same. We move on and people change. Yeah, those friends are growing. We move on and people change. Yeah, those friends are growing up. I miss somebody I knew 6 months ago. 'Cause you were someone that loved me at my lows. Yeah, if she came back, you know I couldn't say no. But now I see that she don't exist anymore. Cut me back down, 'cause now you're posting every time you go out. The guys who told me not to worry about all over you, I don't know who you are now. Yeah, I tried, you didn't really wanna save it. Got tied up into something that you hated. Not sure you even know what you're saying. Somebody I knew 6 months ago. 'Cause you were someone that loved me at my lows. Yeah, if she came back, you know I couldn't say no. But now I see that she don't exist anymore. Left us in the past. Good things never last. I can't have that back. Oh yeah. Missed call from your mom. Does she know I'm gone? Or do you lie to her too? Damn. Yeah, I tried, you didn't really wanna save it. Got tied up into something that you hated. Not sure you even know what you're saying. Yeah, I tried, you didn't really wanna save it. Got tied up into something that you hated. Not sure you even know what you're saying. I miss somebody I knew 6 months ago. 'Cause you were someone that loved me at my lows. Yeah, if she came back, you know I couldn't say no. But now I see that she don't exist anymore. I see that she don't exist anymore. I see that she don't exist anymore.
여러분들께 좀 나의 애정을 표현하고 싶어서 얼굴하고 이름 매칭도 하고
talk about you to everybody that I know. Now they all love you, 'cause you are the one who lit a fire. The way I walk, the way I talk, you lift me higher. How did you flip my entire life? Everything's now upside down. I was alone in this town. Thought that I had it all planned, but I finally understand. Surrender. Falling on my knees, you pick me up so tender. I surrender. The great pretender. Before I met you, who was I? Now you're my center. I surrender. I built walls on the land, then I left, then unmanned. All it took was a look, crumbling the earth shook. Yeah, I surrender. Falling on my knees, you pick me up so tender. Throw my hands up in the air, yeah, I adore you. There's not a single thing that I wouldn't do for you. That's how much I trust you. I let it all go. My inhibitions fall away. I'm letting you stay, 'cause I know that you'll stay for life. Everything's now upside down. I was alone in this town. Thought that I had it all planned, but I finally understand. Surrender. I surrender. Falling on my knees, you pick me up so tender. I surrender. I surrender. Great pretender. Before I met you, who was I? Now you're my center. I surrender. Walls on the land, then I left, then unmanned. All it took was a look, crumbling the earth shook. Yeah, I surrender. I surrender. Falling on my knees, you pick me up so tender. Throw my hands up in the air. Yeah, I surrender. You pick me up so tender. Well, here I am, surrender. You pick me up so tender. Well, here I am, so I surrender. Falling on my knees, you pick me up so tender. I surrender. The great pretender. Before I met you, who was I? Now you're my center. Oh, I surrender. I built walls on the land, then I left, then unmanned. All it took was a look, crumbling the earth shook. Yeah, I surrender. I surrender. Falling on my knees, you pick me up so tender. Throw my hands up in the air. Yeah, I surrender. I surrender. You pick me up so tender.
왜 능동은 하고 수동은 안 하고.
Cause I don't wanna know if I'm better off alone. I'm so happy when I'm
Won't you come on over later and waste my time? Is this what it looks like, honey?